Stockholders need to be ready for this up-and-coming bull run. If you haven't got into Tesla stock just yet, this may be the last chance before the price soars immensely. Watch this full video to find out why. Hello everyone, you're watching Trade Daily. Like and subscribe to get all the latest news on Tesla and Tesla stocks. Now let's get into the news. We'll start this off by looking at Tesla's stock price. Today, a share of Tesla stock is trading at $209 per share, up 4.21% at the time of recording. Elon Musk responds to Big Short Michael Burry's warnings. The billionaire, like many retail investors, closely follows the warnings of the legendary investor. Elon Musk and Michael Burry are among the major influencers, each with hordes of followers on social media. Musk, who is the CEO of Tesla and the owner of Twitter, has seen his influence grow in recent months. He's become a global CEO, famous for his technological innovations, his ambitions to colonize Mars, and his proximity to average people. Burry, founder of the hedge fund Scion Asset Management, is a Wall Street legend. His comments on the markets are closely followed by millions of retail investors who are looking for hints to make their investments grow. The two personalities prefer to express themselves on social networks rather than in the media. They'd like to deliver their messages directly. One of the big differences between them is that Burry delivers mostly bad news. And that bad news is about the markets, which, unsurprisingly, often triggers a lot of anxiety among investors. Burry left Twitter after issuing a dire warning. For example, last month, Burry urged investors to liquidate their shares by posting a one-word message: sell. The message unequivocally suggested that the financier was betting on a stock market crash when, since the start of the year, the stock market indices had been on a continuous rise. Burry also deleted his account, leaving users to guess what he meant by sell. His message came the day before a Federal Reserve monetary policy decision on interest rates. The Federal Reserve decided to increase its federal funds rate by 25 basis points, 0.25 percentage point, to a range of 4.5% to 4.75%, the highest since 2008. The central bank also said more increases would be needed to bring inflation more closely and more consistently toward its 2% target. This increase, smaller than previous ones, seemed to suggest that the central bank felt well-positioned in its fight against inflation. Contrary to Burry's advice, investors did not sell. Quite the opposite. The S&P 500 index ended the day up more than 1%. And the S&P 500 ended January with a 6.2% gain, the best start to a year since 2019, while the Nasdaq 100 jumped nearly 11% for its best January since 2001. Burry is back on Twitter with a dire warning. 7 days after deleting his Twitter account, Burry returned to the platform. And in his luggage, he carried another terrible warning. The financier on February 7 posted a message that read, "This time is different." It was accompanied by a graph comparing the effective federal funds rate and the S&P 500 index in 2001 and 2002. The evolution curves show that the decline of the federal funds rate is parallel to that of the stock market index. Basically, for Burry, a pivot in monetary policy, cuts in the federal funds rate should cause markets to fall, not to rise as many investors are currently anticipating. As a result, the "this time is different" remark appears to be sarcasm. Burry seems to say that he does not understand why this time a reduction of interest rates would be accompanied by a rise in stock market indices, while the 2001 to 2002 economic context is similar to 2022 to 2023. The return of the legendary financier on Twitter and his dire predictions are generating many reactions. Musk did not hesitate to comment. The billionaire says he'd rather smile at Burry's warnings than anything else. Michael Burry has reactivated his Twitter account after saying sell and has now tweeted. A Twitter user posted on February 7, referring to the investor's message. "Cracks me up every time," Musk responded with a laughing emoji. Musk and Burry have history. Scion Asset Management held put options, bearish bets against nearly 1.1 million Tesla shares at the end of June 2021. It exited the position 3 months later. In November 2021, Burry accused Musk of selling his company's stock to service his personal debts. "Burry is a broken clock," Musk responded at the time. But Musk didn't often take Burry's criticism the wrong way. Back in April, when the investor sarcastically claimed that Musk's acquisition of Twitter shares might be good for America, the tech mogul responded with a good-natured quip. Burry said it was his last tweet with a blue checkmark. Burry's Twitter account does not have a blue checkmark to authenticate the identity of the author. Since last September, the relations between Burry and Musk seemed to have warmed, as the investor revealed that he was no longer shorting Tesla, even though he said he should be. by replacing around 60 welded components with a single module. Gigantic aluminum die casting machines made by the likes of Tesla supplier Idra Group are helping car makers to simplify manufacturing and cut costs by up to 40% in some areas. Tesla has pioneered the use of massive casting machines, also known as gigapresses, to make large single pieces of vehicle underbodies, streamline production, and reduce the work of even robots. This has helped it become the most profitable battery electric vehicle maker. Critics say the process poses quality and flexibility risks, as a single flaw can compromise a whole module and make fixing more difficult if something goes wrong. But with the industry struggling to preserve profit margins amid surging raw materials prices, car makers including Toyota, General Motors, Hyundai, Volvo Cars, and Chinese electric vehicle startup NIO are turning to companies like Idra for help. The basic idea was to provide a technology that could simplify the car production process. Idra General Manager Riccardo Ferrario told Reuters in an interview at the company's headquarters in Travagliato, northern Italy. Battery packs currently make up 25–40% of the total cost of BEV. You need to make the rest cost less, Ferrario said. Automakers using aluminum casting machines claim they can reduce investments needed to build chassis, a vehicle's second most expensive component after the engine, by 40% and the average cost of their parts by 30%, Ferrario said. It's a way to eventually make BEV something for all pockets, he said. Idra, which was taken over by Chinese group LK Industries in 2008, has been developing gigapresses since 2016. Competitors of Idra and LK include Buhler Group in Europe, U Corp and Shibura Machine in Japan, as well as Yizumi and Haitian in China. Gigapress 9000. Metal and plastic die casting has been largely used in manufacturing, but its application to large aluminum underbodies in car making is relatively new. The global aluminum die casting market was worth almost $73 billion last year and is projected to top $126 billion by 2032, according to an AlixPartners analysis based on Apollo Reports data. Aluminum is prized for its light weight and is also used for other car parts, including engines. The average content of the metal in European-produced cars rose 20% to 179 kilograms in the 3 years to 2019, and is expected to increase to almost 200 kilograms by 2025, a study commissioned by lobby group European Aluminium shows. Idra's newest and biggest gigapress, the 9000, is the size of a small house and produces a clamping force of over 9,000 tons. The company, which made €100 million, $108 million in revenues in 2021, does not disclose its customers. But after it posted a video of the first gigapress 9000 ready for shipping, Tesla CEO Elon Musk said it was for his company's new Cybertruck. Tesla already operates gigapresses in all its facilities, including in Grünheide near Berlin, where it says it can churn out a Model Y in 10 hours, about 3 times faster than electric cars built by competitors. Ferrario said Idra had contracts with 3 automakers and as many Tier 1 parts makers. South Korea's Hyundai Motor is among them, sources familiar with the matter said. Ralph Bechman of manufacturing consultant Afiso said the benefits of die casting would push it to be applied to an increasing number of new models of BEV vehicles, also by other manufacturers. Front and rear underbodies cast by gigapresses are now combined with battery packs to form a 3-piece chassis for BEV. I bet 80% of automakers will use gigapresses by 2035, at least for BEV cars based on new platforms, Ferrario said. But the real question is, will we need even bigger gigapresses? Yet not all automakers are convinced. Afiso's Bechman cautioned that large module die casting required product design to be super solid. Fixing design flaws is much easier with a body made up of several small parts rather than a single module, he said. After initially considering die casting for its upcoming Trinity model, Volkswagen has backtracked, while BMW has never expressed an interest. Ferrario said the auto industry tended to be conservative and that no one liked appending established processes. But he rejected the idea that die casting posed a risk to jobs at car makers, noting body making was already highly automated. The real issue will be with businesses supplying those little parts replaced by our modules, he said. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the news. Like and subscribe to stay up to date with all the Tesla news. But just before we go, I'd like to remind you that this video is for news and entertainment only and should not be used as investment advice.